Hello, hello. Welcome to Crazy Games. We're back in Genshin Impact, and we're about to wrap up this story quest, the A or Raiden Shogun story quest, Reflections of Mortality, Imperatrix Umbrosa Chapter, Act I. To hear mortals' hearts, give the pass permit back to Yae Miko. Kujo Kamaji has proven his will, and A has acknowledged it. You sense that A's attitude is different from normal. She might have something to say to you. I guess that's, we already did that, so all we have to do is give the pass permit back to Yae Miko, and I think that should wrap things up, but hopefully Yae Miko would give us a bit more information about either herself or A or Raiden Shogun or anything that would be of interest. Talk to Yae Miko. Alright. Let's see what we have here. Hello, Yae. We're here to give you back this permit, and we got to hang out with A, or the Raiden Shogun, and it was really fun. She kind of acts a little bit childish sometimes, but at the same time, she also can be pretty badass. You tell Yae Miko about the various things that happened.
実に面白い。堂々たる将軍様が田舎から来た素朴な娘のように城内で買い物をするとは。この目で見られなかったのが誠に惜しまれる。
You and the Shogun enjoy teasing each other.
いいんじゃ。あやつはそのようなこと気にせぬ。
She winked at us.
じゃがナンジラの話によれば、あやつは永遠のあり方について少しだけ触れることができたようじゃな。それが一番重要な収穫じゃ。実を言うと、ナンジラに通行証を渡したときは、ここまでの進展があるとは思わなかった。
You see, Yae Miko, we have this thing called plot armor where we can pretty much do whatever we want, and things will always go our way.
もうすべてが止まることを強制することはないみたいだぞ。
よく言えば神の独りよがりな思い、悪く言えば属性の七失星でさえより強大な存在を前にしたとき、なすすべのないこともあるということじゃ。
Wait, the Seven can't do when faced with something even more powerful than themselves? The human heart or the heavenly principles? The heavenly principles is what, Kanraya, or the people of Kanraya was breaking these principles, and that's why, like, the gods, cursed them and, like, destroyed their nation and everything. So is that, like, something more powerful than the Seven? Like, the Seven they're just archons. They're still gods that are above them, right? In the lore, if that's how I'm supposed to understand things. Or is it the human heart? Like, human ambition is just that much stronger and uncontrollable to even, like, gods themselves. The human heart. I just did. I guess the human heart.
とにかく話を聞くと、今回の旅は愉快なものであったみたいじゃな。A のそれほど堅苦しくない一面も見られたはずじゃ。
I should have chose the heavenly principles and see what she said. She would have, or Yae Miko would have said about it.
今度またあやつに会いたいときは、わらわに通行証を借りに来るといい。口では言わぬが、実は結構な寂しがり屋なんじゃ。
寂しい。
でも、付き添いはいらないって。
あやつは神じゃ。神に付き添いが必要なわけではなく、付き添いが贅沢すぎるんじゃ。じゃが汝はこの世界に属さぬもの。もしかすればそれが最良の選択となるじゃろう。
Oh yeah. Imperatrix Umbrosa Chapter Act I complete. Woo! 60 Primo Gems. Oh, we can still talk to her. Yae Miko.
どうした？何か話したいことでもあるのか？
About Dango Mihuk.
あやつはきっとその飲み物を大層気に入ったんじゃろうな。心の中では大喜びじゃ。きっと早くこの屋台を一心浄土でも開店してくださいと思っていることじゃろう。どうした？何か話したいことでもあるのか？
About the Raiden Shogun.
あの人形のことじゃな。人形の規則を修正することは非常に手を焼くことであるとわらわも聞いたことがあるぞ。
Is this implication about Scaramouche as well then? And it was like super difficult, and yet the Fat Tui was able to, or the people of Sneznaya was able to like change his operations. So is this like kind of saying how like formidable the Fat Tui is, and the Harbingers and the Sneznaya is in general, and the Cryo Archon?
それはきっとあやつにとって前代未聞と言えるほど大変なことなのじゃろう。想像してみるといい。あの賢いエイですら難しいと感じることを。無双の人たちでさえも解決できぬことじゃ。どうした？何か話したいことでもあるのか？
About light novels.
転生してライデン将軍になる。面白い考えではないか？娯楽小説は面白ければ何でもいいんじゃ。
So it was her that either wrote or approved of that story about some dude randomly reincarnating or switching sides, switching bodies with Raiden Shogun.
じゃがあやつにとってなんというか少し先進的が過ぎたな。今度は転生して八重宮司になるという題材で募集してみるというのはどうじゃ？
Well, we don't really know that much about you, so we won't really know what kind of plot points that would be. But if having a sequel like that means we get a bit of caricature or a parody of your life, I think I'd be pretty interested in it.
どうした？何か話したいことでもあるのか？
I've got nothing else to say. Thank you. Thank you for talking to us. So yeah, I guess that's all I have for you for today. At least in terms of the story. I kind of want to talk about how I've kind of dealt with this whole story. I don't think I have anything else. Okay, I have nothing else. But yeah, I was pretty negative about the story in the beginning, and I didn't really like how MiHoYo started this whole story quest, with how like kind of childish and naive and unfamiliar she is of everything. It just kind of shows how incompetent and ignorant she is when she is like depicted as like this badass leader. She's this like formidable fighter. She's like this like all around badass really, and then she turns out to be like this lame person in this other side. I know it's like they're trying to like show more vulnerable sides of her, and that's what they were trying to achieve with that story stuff, but I feel like it could have gone a little bit better, where like the way I suggested they start the story was that she was gonna go and defeat the rest of the Fat Tui before like she wants to trust us, but then she wants us to earn her trust, so she's giving us a chance to like just fight alongside her just to like build that relationship, and that way she would still kind of be like a leader. She kind of gets her way, and she has like a plan to do everything that makes her more like competent, and at the same time it shows that she is willing to be vulnerable and willing to open up and trust us, if like give us a chance to, I don't know, prove ourselves to her. And maybe like some of the plot points while we travel along with her to defeat the Fat Tui or something, we would, I don't know, find out that she really likes desserts or something. It's like, oh, she really likes desserts. She really enjoyed dango milk somehow when we somehow like met some dude or something. I don't know, during our journeys, or maybe on our way back from defeating like a long day of fighting and defeating Fat Tui. We come back to Inazuma City. And we come across that dango milk guy, and we learn that she loves dango milk, and then we have like a little bit of a lighthearted thing after like a badass thing. I think it would juxtapose a bit better, but unfortunately we started off with like this really lighthearted, really kind of timid points of the story that really didn't support, or it really didn't match with what we were told the Raiden Shogun is like, or A is like. So like there was a huge dissonance there, whereas they could have like set the story a little in a way where it like eased us into that a little bit more. But yeah, so it was like really jarring to suddenly see the Raiden Shogun or see A as this like timid little girl, little like childlike naive girl that doesn't really understand how humans work anymore. Or how humans behave. And yeah, I don't know. I was saying like I was pretty critical of that side of it. I might have been a bit too negative on it too, and I kind of admit that. And I'm actually pretty glad that they went in the direction where she decided that she did do something bad, and we did go check out like that political side of things, I guess, where like one of the commissions is trying to like, or one of the clans is trying to like take over as a leading commissioner, and we kind of showed like it showed like A and Raiden Shogun, I guess. I'm just gonna refer to them as the same person, so they're technically kind of sort of the same person. Raiden Shogun, we showed like how like commanding she could be, how charismatic she could be, and how badass she is. But at the same time, she's like willing to change with new information now that she understands that her previous notion of eternity is not correct, and now she's trying to find a better definition of eternity. So it shows that she is like intelligent in that sense, and that she is willing to change her mindset when better information presents itself, and that she is willing to see the big picture and not just like straight up kill the head Kujo commission, like that dude with the glasses. And that she's like gonna show mercy just because she understands the bigger picture, instead of just like blindly clutching and strictly clutching onto her previous definition of eternity. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the story could have been better, but we get what we got, and hopefully in the future stories get better. I feel like for whatever reason, a lot of the female characters in this game usually gets like bad stories. Let's see. So Raiden Shogun, you heard already enough of my opinions. I think I kind of expressed Kujo Sera's, that her character kind of got destroyed too during that one part of the Archon quest, where she just looks so incompetent. Even though she's supposed to be like a general, she's supposed to be high ranking, she's supposed to be on the front lines all the time, and at the same time she's supposed to be like has a closer relationship with Raiden Shogun. Yoimiya's story was not too bad. That one was actually pretty enjoyable. It was actually kind of endearing and a little bit sweet, I guess. I don't know. It was like a word that I'm trying to find. It's wholesome. It was a really wholesome, where she's trying to help her friend, and then like she really enjoys fireworks, and that's why she's like runs the fireworks thing to such passion. Sayu kind of appeared for a little bit during the Archon quest. I don't really think I can make an opinion about her one way or another. She seemed like more of a prop to move the plot along at the time, so we didn't really get to know her all that much. So I'm not gonna really say anything about her at the moment. I'll wait till there's more information about her before I make an opinion. The Kamisato, the story for her was a little bit weird too. Like, there were really good parts about her story too, but at the same time, like, her story was a little bit weird as well. She wanted to find like her mother's friend or something like that in her story, and she went through like a whole wild goose chase, and it found out that the person she was trying to find was actually like her mother before she got married, and her mother like did all these crazy things or something like that. And then she does like this crazy like awesome dance for us in this awesome cutscene. So I don't know, maybe I was wrong about this. Like it feels like the story for the characters is hit and miss, and then maybe I was wrong to assume or make the I'm pretty sure Raiden Shogun doesn't talk too much, so I'll hang on her so I don't get interrupted by the character speaking. Anyway, maybe I was wrong in saying like female characters seems to get the short end of the stick with their stories. But yeah, Kamisato's story wasn't too bad, I feel like. But I do feel like the character is not on this list, but they really did Kokomi dirty. She's supposed to be this amazing leader, but then she somehow like just takes weapons from from like an unknown source without like backing up the source before actually accepting the weapons. Like it turns out to be delusions, and then like she's supposed to be like this amazing leader, and she like for whatever reason decides to make Lumine a captain without actually trying to make sure like she got the right person and that our credentials were actually like for reals, like we actually are as formidable as people say we are. We do actually fit our legend. So like she seems to be making a lot of decisions that wouldn't make sense for a great leader to make. And she also promoted Tepe into Tepe, the guy who like used the delusions and then like aged really quickly. And that whole like thing was weird too, that whole story. Anyways, I feel like I'm ranting too much. Eula's story was pretty good. Yanfei's story was pretty good, I guess, about her lawyer. It wasn't really her story though. It was about like the teapot, so I don't know if they're gonna make an actual story for Yanfei in the future. Rosaria appeared in a bunch of stories, but she wasn't really like the main character, so I don't know, but she does seem to be depicted as like a pretty badass character though. Pu Tao, I made fun of her, or I was critical about her story too. She like tries so hard to sell coffins, and it's like played off. It's played off as like it's this whimsical thing. So yeah, I don't know. Her story is just weird. I think her story just didn't fit my like sensibilities for a story, but it probably was pretty good for people who like her character. Xiao's story was pretty good. The stories with Kazuha in it were pretty good. How badass he is when he like blocked the Musou no Hitotachi with his sword. I think it was a Musou no Hitotachi. Maybe it was just a regular like vertical slash. I really wish I unlocked like these two. They're so cool. Ganyu got screwed over in her story since she's supposed to be like this hard-working adeptus that's like lived for many, many years. And yet she like made the mistake of believing she is fired somehow, and we didn't really get a sense of why she believed that. And then she went and decides to train more like adeptus powers, and then like somehow decides to help some person with some, I don't know, tax evasion or something, and accidentally like mistakenly accuse like a Fatui person of doing wrong, and then like threatens that Fatui. And it's just like they kind of made her look a bit incompetent too. Albedo's story was alright. I don't remember Albedo's story or how I felt about Albedo's story. It's all about him like wanting to test us pretty much. Zhong Li's story was really good. They did a really good job with this. I really enjoyed how like poetic his story is, and kind of like the and how like his ideals and stuff kind of seek through into his character, which is pretty cool. We haven't had a story for Xing Yang. Tartaglia was pretty good, how he like would do anything for his little brother pretty much. So yeah, like male characters seem to have pretty good stories for the most part. It's just as the female characters are a bit hit and miss. Diluc's story was really cool. He's Batman. Diona Klee's stories are pretty good. There's a lot of stories for Klee, I
あれ
think.
どこ
Venti's stories was alright. Qing was only like cameos, I believe. She didn't really have a story of her own yet, I don't think. Mona's was pretty good. How she like was trying to like learn more, and then there's all these like memeable moments of her being broke, so that was pretty good. Chi-Chi's story about how she wants cocoa goats. I think that she's kind of like a side character though in that story. But yeah, she has like pretty adorable moments and memeable moments too. Jean's story, I feel like she got kind of screwed over in her story, where she's like the acting grandmaster, and she seems to be super capable and trustworthy, and was also put into the grandmaster or the acting grandmaster position by Grandmaster Varka because of her credentials. But then like she overworks and gets sick, and is asked to like find people's cats, and it's like, wait, what? Wouldn't she be able, as a leader, be able to delineate that kind of stuff a bit more instead of just overworking herself? But that could also be that she just started being acting grandmaster, and she had like a bit of a getting used to period that maybe she overworked. So I don't know. I'm making excuses for Jean since she's like my favorite character. Sucrose was in a bunch of stories, but I don't know if she had a story of her own specifically. Changyong, I don't think had a story. Changyun. Noelle, did he have a story? I know like some of these characters has hangout events, but I haven't done them yet, so I don't know too much about them. Bennett was pretty good. Vishal was actually pretty endearing too. Her story about how like she's Chunibyo, but when she actually like makes a friend in the Traveler, her real self kind of leaks out, and she doesn't keep up her Chunibyo like princesin of the Verterling or whatever appearance, and that's kind of like sweet on her part. Ningguan is really badass in her story. She like drops her Jade Chambers on Osile to defeat him. That's pretty good. Like the Jade Chamber is like the thing she worked from scratch on to build into what it was at that point. So her sacrificing that to save Li Yue was like a pretty badass moment for her. And Xin Qiu his story was kind of like alright, where she's like this like book enthusiast, and he wants to help this one guy write the books that he enjoys, like the author that he enjoys. And he's like super rich, so I don't know. It's been a while since I did his story. I don't remember how I felt about his story, but hindsight, I feel like I enjoyed it pretty well. Beidou was in some of their recent stories, and she's pretty badass. Xiang Ling's story was pretty endearing. She's like super passionate about cooking, and she's always constantly trying to find ways to improve dishes. That's pretty good. Razor's story was about Lupicles, and it was not that bad either. Actually, some of the earliest stories was actually really good. Barbara's story. What did Barbara do? I don't think she has her own story yet, does she?
いつになったらお姉ちゃんみたいに背が高くなるんだろう
I don't know actually. She's in a lot of other people's stories, I believe. She's like a supporting character in a lot of other people's stories, and she's pretty cool too. A lot of the earlier stories I feel like was really enjoyable. It's more of the recent ones that kind of dropped the ball, like for Raiden, Kujo, Wu Tao was a little bit weird for me. Ganyu was weird for me. But yeah, a lot of the earlier ones was pretty good. Anyways, maybe I ranted a little bit too long and it wasn't too interesting. Is there a way to actually see who had stories back in the day completed? So Amber, Kea, Lisa, Razor, Deluxe, Klee, Jean, Venti, Mona, Albedo, Eula. Eula's here. Xiangling, Xingqiu, Tartaglia, Zhongli, There's 2 Zhongli stories. Ganyu, Xiao, Hu Tao, Yoimiya, Ayaka, and Raiden Shogun. So yeah, there isn't actually like Barbara and a lot of the earlier characters. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I don't know if you came up to this point of me just ranting about how I feel about previous stories. I feel like I appreciate that, because I feel like that was really bad content. So me just speaking off the top of my head about things that I haven't really thought too much about lately. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you in the next one, where I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably maybe do more. I don't know. Maybe I should actually do the how do you get to the hangout events? Here we go. Maybe I'll actually do these this time around. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Hope you see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.